When we think of dinosaur fossils, we usually picture bare, bleached bones. We picture fragile skeletons reconstructed in museums with steel rods held together by plaster and a healthy dose of scientific imagination. But what if you could look at a dinosaur directly in the face? What if you could see the exact texture of its skin, the sharp keratin sheaths covering its armor, and the pigments of its scales? Exactly as they looked 110 million years ago. This isn't a sci-fi premise. This is the reality of Borealopelta, a creature often called the dinosaur mummy. It was, without exaggeration, the most flawlessly preserved armored dinosaur ever discovered. It didn't just leave behind footprints or a skeleton, it left behind a three-dimensional time capsule. In March 2011, deep within the Athabasca oil sands of Suncor's Millennial Mine in Alberta, Canada, heavy equipment operator Sean Funk was doing what he did every day, operating a massive 100-ton hydraulic excavator. His job was to tear through layers of rock to reach the lucrative oil sands below. But this particular day, his massive shovel struck something that wasn't oil sand. It was hard, stubborn, and completely out of place. Funk noticed distinct, repeating lines and patterns embedded in the rock. He immediately halted operation, took a closer look, and realized it wasn't just another consecration of rock. He had uncovered a fossil. Paleontologists from the nearby Royal Tyrrell Museum were quickly called on the scene. When they arrived, they were expecting to find another ancient marine reptile, which was common in these marine rocks. Instead, what they pulled from the ground would change paleontology forever. The most pristine, uncrushed armored dinosaur ever discovered.
This is Borealopelta markmitchellii. The name Borealopelta means northern shield. It was a nodosaur, a type of heavily armored plant-eating dinosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period roughly 110 million years ago. Normally, when a dinosaur dies, its body bloats, decays, and the skeleton is scattered by scavengers. The bones flatten under millions of years of sediment and pressure, but Borealopelta defied every rule of fossilization. So how did it get here? Around 110 million years ago, this 1.3 metric ton dinosaur likely died near a river and was swept out into the ancient Western Interior Seaway. The Western Interior Seaway was a vast inland sea that split North America into two landmarks during the late Cretaceous, connecting the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean. The dinosaur floated upside down in the ocean before releasing the gases in its body and began sinking rapidly into the muddy sea floor. The weight of the heavily armored back pushed into the soft sediment, and the iron-rich minerals in the ocean quickly encased the carcass in a hard rock concretion. This natural tomb stopped scavengers and halted decay, essentially freezing the animal in time. The excavation and preparation was monumental. The fossil was so incredibly delicate and heavy that it broke during extraction. The museum then brought in Mark Mitchell, a preparator who spent over 5,500 hours meticulously picking away the dense rock under a microscope. To honor his painstaking years-long dedication, the dinosaur was officially named Borealopelta markmitchellii. What makes Borealopelta so significant? Well, for starters, it is much more than a skeleton. It's a mummified dinosaur. Instead of just seeing bare bones, we can see the animal's actual skin texture, the arrangement of its scales, and the keratin sheaths called osteoderms that cover their bony armor. Before Borealopelta, scientists largely had to guess the color of dinosaurs. But in 2017, researchers analyzed the organic residue in the fossil skin using mass spectrometry. By looking for preserved pigments called melanosomes, scientists discovered that Borealopelta was reddish-brown. Even more fascinating, it had a camouflage pattern known as countershading. Its back was darker while its underbelly was lighter. In the modern animal kingdom, this is a classic survival tactic for prey animals to blend into their environment and avoid shadows. Think about that for a second. Borealopelta was 18 feet long and covered in thick, sword-like spikes. It was a tank in the Cretaceous. Yet, the fact that it evolved countershading tells paleontologists that the predators of the early Cretaceous were so terrifying and massive that this mega herbivore still needed to hide. It gives us a completely new perspective on the complex predator-prey dynamic of the Mesozoic era.
But the discoveries didn't stop at its skin. The encasing rock concretion that preserved the animal so well also trapped something else: the dinosaur's stomach contents. Paleontologists were able to examine what scientists call a cololite, or a preserved fossilized gut. Inside its stomach were gastroliths, or stomach stones, that the dinosaur swallowed to help grind up tough plant matter. By examining the preserved plant tissues, researchers found that Borealopelta primarily ate ferns with small amounts of cycads and conifers. Even wilder, researchers found fragments of charcoal mixed within its last meal. This suggests that Borealopelta had been grazing in an area that had recently been hit by a forest fire, eating the nutrient-rich ferns that sprout as part of the post-fire ecosystem. By pinpointing the specific type of ferns and twigs, scientists were even able to determine that the last meal was eaten in the late spring or mid-summer.
Before Borealopelta, our understanding of dinosaurs was largely built on disconnected bones, isolated teeth, and a lot of educated guesswork. This single glorious specimen shattered those limits. It proved that we can know the color, the exact diet, the environment, and the behavior of an animal that lived over 110 million years ago. The story of Borealopelta is a testament to the unpredictable nature of paleontology. It required a fortunate industrial accident, the keen eye of a mine worker, and thousands of hours of painstaking dedication in a lab to unlock its secrets. It serves as a reminder that there are still countless secrets locked deep within the earth, just waiting for the right person to look a little closer.